I don't know if the recording thing is going to work, but maybe. There we go. Okay, so let's get started, and I'll try to let people in as they join. We just thought it was a good time with the numbers going a little bit crazy in California to just sort of review the COVID information, and but we thought we'd start out the meeting with coach introductions, and not all the coaches could be on tonight. There's a birthday in Jared's family, and some other things happening, but we thought that we would at least introduce all the coaches that are on and let them say something. I'm just going to start. My name is Beth Anderson. I am right now the executive director at NorCal Crew. One of the goals that we have is to try to, we're coaches. We want to inspire and encourage the kids. That's our ultimate goal in all of this. So as I go to introduce them, I asked each of them just to have something to say, less than a few seconds, hopefully. But I'm going to start out with, with the coaches at NorCal, like, we understand that our job is to inspire. All right. So I think a good quote for that is, as a 4-time Super Bowl winning coach said, quote, "On every team, there's a core group that sets the tone for everyone else. If the tone is positive, you have half the battle won. If it is negative, you're beaten before you ever walk on the field." At NorCal, we're striving to create a positive atmosphere to allow us to be that life-changing program that will lead each of our athletes to future success. So I was going to start the introductions with Jared, but I don't believe he's on because he has a birthday. So let's start with Chuck. Chuck, are you on?
Hey, I'm here. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Cool. So hopefully most of you know me. I've had the privilege of coaching most of your kids, so hopefully you know what I'm all about. One of the quotes that I chose was from The Art of War by Sun Tzu, one of my favorite books. So what I chose was, "Treat your men as your own beloved sons, and they will follow you into the deepest valley." And so using that globally, if you treat, our athletes as extensions of our own family, we have the same motivation, we have the same drive, same commitment. It creates this bond and this harmony. So I really enjoy that quote, and you can use that, pretty adaptively. So
that's a good one, Chuck. Thanks. Rich, are you on? Rich?
Yeah, I'm here. Beth?
Yes. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rich. I'm going. I do not have a inspirational quote this evening, but I have just recently started coaching the varsity women. So for myself, I just look forward in the coming weeks and months to get to know the team and the parents as well. So short, brief, there we go.
Perfect. Exactly what we want. Brittany, are you on?
Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm just so grateful. I want to introduce myself. I'm the women's varsity assistant coach, and it's my passion to really be part of this team and this community. And what it really means for us as a team is really standing for these young men and women to really have a profound impact on themselves in the world and the community. So it's just really an honor. I think more importantly now we have this experience and kind of this lifestyle where we we rise with the sun and we kind of like set with the sun. But what these athletes prove day in and day out is that they really get to know themselves as like powerful. They really get to know themselves as beings who really commit to something. So I'm just so grateful. I think it's really healthy, and I'm just so honored to be part of this team.
Thanks, Brittany. There's two other assistants that aren't on for the varsity women. It's Amy Selesky and Louisa Calhoun, and their photos are there, but neither of them are going to be on the call tonight. The next one is Chris Del Zampo.
Hey, everybody. I'm Chris Del Zampo. I'm the head novice men's coach. And I kind of wanted to go on the theme of being a champion for NorCal is a full-time choice. And that means not only being great at racing, but it means being great in the classroom and the community. Whether it's studying hard or volunteering at the local food bank, our athletes are everywhere and they're doing great things. I'm excited to be the novice men's head coach, and I look forward to teaching the champions of the future, the sport that I love. And I think Joe Battisti, who just joined me, has been a great help here in his short time, but we're really going to take the novice men to new heights.
That's great. And Joseph, are you on?
Yes, I'm right here. Awesome. Hi. I hope you all can hear me okay. My lighting's not too great in my room. I am the newest addition to NorCal crew. Only a couple weeks now. I've had the opportunity to coach, luckily for Amy Selesky, who introduced me to this occupation. Little background, I just left Santa Clara University as a varsity athlete. I will say just off the start, based on these couple few weeks, it's a lot different to be the athlete. A lot easier, I think, to be the athlete. It's easier to be told what to do than to organize and structure a program that really improves and helps the kids progress in the sport and become that collegiate rower that a lot of them strive to be. But I'm extremely excited about this, and I thank all the coaching staff for the warm welcome that they've given me as I transition into this position. But I think one of my priorities as a coach, especially during times like this, is to really create a brotherhood between the novice men. I think to create a community and to bring everyone in that's not just on an athlete basis, something a little tighter and a little more bonded is my priority for these athletes. So I'm excited as this progresses on, and hopefully COVID doesn't do anything dramatic to the program enough for these guys not to show up, because I know a lot of them have the potential and are showing the potential to really excel in this sport. So I'm excited.
Thanks, Joseph. There's one person I left off. I'm just going to say out loud. I left off Caroline Lamerson, who's like should never be left off this list, but she didn't send me a photo today. So the next person I'm going to introduce is Kristen Oyen.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay,
yep.
Great.
I can hear you.
So for those of you who don't know me, I am the novice women's head coach. This is my first year here at NorCal, and I just moved back to the Bay Area after living in Newport Beach the last 10 years, where I worked at the Newport Aquatic Center. So I'm excited to be back and be near my family, especially during weird times like this. So it's really fun to be back, and I'm really stoked to be a part of the NorCal program. I've known Beth for a really long time, so I'm happy to be working with her again. And I'm really excited to work with the novice women. And over the last few weeks, I've gotten to know them all. Obviously, I'm going to continue to get to know them because there's over 50 of them. But it's really awesome working with first-year athletes because you really get to mold them and teach them the discipline that you need to have in a sport like rowing, because it's, it's my job to make sure they go into their varsity year prepared. So I think I'm sometimes a tough coach, but I think it's important to teach high school girls to, just have a structure and discipline. And they may hate me some days, but yeah, I think it'll be good for them once they become varsity athletes. So it's been a lot of fun, and I look forward to working with them the rest of the season.
Amanda, I know you're on.
Yeah, I'm here. There's certain times when I really miss Coach Tom Taylor, and this is probably one of them, because he would have the perfect thing that would be inspiring to say right now. I'll just say that one of the things that I really like to teach the novices is to have confidence in themselves. This is, for some of them, the very first sport that they've really done seriously, and it's a great chance for them to learn that they can do more than they think they can. We haven't had a ton of racing, but even last week's race was good evidence of that. I think when they found out how long the race was, some of them were fairly nervous. But they did it, and they finished it, and they had fun, and they did more than they thought they were capable of. And seeing that growth every time I work with novices is so exciting. Just encouraging them to believe that they can do it, have confidence to do it, get through that next stroke, and then you never know where you'll end up. And I think that's important as we're going through 2020 as well. Just take every stroke for what it is, move on, take the next stroke, and hopefully things will get better and get faster, and we'll all enjoy being around our teammates at the same time.
I think, Rich, correct me if I'm wrong, but your camera is broken. Is that correct? The parents wanted to see what you looked like. So, but I believe his camera's broken. So
not broken. I don't think anybody wants to watch me make dinner.
Well, in a minute you get to pop on. Okay, finish making dinner. Is Natalie on?
Then I have to get my hair done.
Is Natalie? Natalie, are you on? I'm not sure she's on, but I know Lamerson's on. Would you like to say something, Caroline, who I left off of this list, which is
Sure.
not nice. It's not personal.
Right. I'm Caroline Lamerson. I just recently graduated NorCal from back in May. I'm home this semester from the University of North Carolina, where I am a freshman on the rowing team. And I am super excited to be helping out with the Novice Women. It's really fun to be with the little morning group, especially because I was not so long ago in their exact same shoes as an 8th grader, as Crystal Zompo knows. So yeah, I'm super excited to be working with them. They're a great group of girls, and I'm really excited for the future.
That's great. All right. Well, now we've at least seen all of the people that we have here. Sorry, my computer just my computer just crashed, so it's all good. So I think most of the coaches have talked. There's a couple things I thought we should talk about before we got into the COVID stuff, but one is, why are we at 2 locations? Why are we at Biak and at West Point Harbor? And one of the main reasons that we're at the 2 different locations is because this summer, when COVID all happened, we realized we couldn't have the numbers we needed to have at one location at any one time. So we divided everybody between the 2 locations. And then it allowed us to guarantee everyone could get on the water as often as we wanted them to, and as often as we could accommodate. So as you all know, those of you who've been to West Point, I think most of you have now, it's beautiful over there, and we're really enjoying it. And there's some positives to us staying over there a little bit, and we're not exactly sure how this is going to go, but that is one of the goals, is to try to build a permanent facility for NorCal somewhere. And West Point could possibly be one of those places. So we're still doing a little bit of research. And we've been really lucky to have BIAC where we can do the land training. And I don't know how many of you have seen the new tent that they just put up, but it's great. So we have plenty of space. It's all outside, protected from the rain. It's pretty great. It's pretty muddy over there at West Point. I mean, not at West Point, at BIAC. And we'll see if we can figure out how to make things sort of go forward and which direction we decide to go. So we're working on it. It's just going to take us a little while. So that was my quick explanation of why we're in two different places. You guys all have read the paper, I'm sure. The current wave of COVID is breaking all records we've had so far for how fast it's transmitting. So our number one goal is safety of the athletes, safety of the coaches, everything. So we're pretty safe. I'm not going to say we're 100% safe, but as far as rowing, it's non-contact, it's outdoors. The kids are pretty socially distanced. It is always the safest place for rowers to be in a single. So anytime that there's concern, the place for us to go is to go back to singles. If we go back to singles because of regulations, we will also be having to reduce substantially how much rowing we're doing. So just so you guys are all aware of that. Rowing in the multi-person shells is safer when we maintain the consistent groups. I think the coaches have been working really hard at this. It's hard when people are missing. We work really hard to make this happen. And it's been a challenge, but I think we're getting a pretty good handle on it. So currently San Mateo County tier is red, and it's one of the last holdouts in red. I think Santa Clara County is purple, and I think almost everyone is going to purple. I hope that we can stem the tide. So the most important thing we have to do as a rowing club is follow the San Mateo County rules and regulations regarding COVID. So what the county of San Mateo says about youth sports is that youth sports and physical education are permitted, but physical, when physical distancing and keeping the kids in a consistent cohort, like a class or like we're doing in pods, it is limiting the risk of transmission. And we don't ever let the kids inside. So for us, we're pretty safe. As far as that, we don't have a building. We'd like to have a building. We don't have a building. So we're hoping that that's maintaining the outdoor and everything else. Some of the athlete rules we'd like to just point out: health comes first, right? Anyone who doesn't feel well, has any symptoms, must not come to the boathouse at any time. And we need parents to help us, regulate this with the kids as well. It's really important. And this goes for athletes and coaches, making the right health protocols and making sure that they're maintaining that. And so far we've been really, really lucky. I think I haven't heard anybody sneeze in about, 6 months. So the athletes and coaches and staff all must wear a mask when on land or on the docks. We have extra masks at the boathouse, at both boathouses, and have them available at all times. We even have them in the motorboats. So we are prepared for that. If somebody loses a mask, they just have to ask. All equipment must be sprayed with clear gear. You guys you can look online what clear gear is, but it's what all like Stanford and everybody's using to spray onto their athletic athletic equipment to make sure that the virus is killed off. And it seems to be working really well. We've used it all summer. It's not cheap, but it's working. So I think that's a great thing. We have plenty of hand sanitizers at both locations. We have huge gallon pump bottles of it. And there are sinks both at BIAC and at West Point. At West Point, the sinks are inside the porta potties, but the hand sanitizer is outside right by the oars, and we have multiple bottles we can put around. So obviously, if somebody gets sick in a group, the first thing we'll do is notify the entire team that we had a COVID case, and we'll make sure and restrict access to any athletes that were in that athletes group. I think that what we've talked about is following the MIT medical suggestion, which is that you need to wait at least 5 days from the time of your possible exposure to be tested, because the test is not likely to detect an infection until 5 to 7 days after infection. So the stuff is there, and you can look that up on the MIT site. But I think that it's really important that we're taking this very seriously, and we'd really like to keep everybody healthy for a really long time. So this just came out, and I'm not sure if many of you have probably seen it, but it's the current California Department of Public Health travel advisory. And I'm not going to ask you to read those little teeny letters, but the summary of that is that if you travel for the holiday and leave for another state, the state is asking all of us to quarantine and for at least the 5 days, and then get a COVID test before returning to the boathouse or to your activities that require being around other people. That goes the same for if an athlete travels to visit colleges out of state. And especially, I know, Texas, Florida, all of this, it's really important that we keep everybody else safe. So we have to think about these things as we get into this higher tier of what's happening. So our goal is just to keep everyone safe and healthy and follow the rules of the state and the county. We do, following into keeping everybody healthy, we're going to make a couple of changes after Thanksgiving to the schedule. It's not major changes, but we're going to try to eliminate the double days for the varsity women, and go to rowing 3 mornings a week and doing 2 afternoons a week. So that your coach will be telling you about that this weekend, so that we'll be all set up and organized. It doesn't really change it that much, but it does make it so that the athletes can sleep in and hopefully maintain their health as we go towards the winter months. It's getting pretty cold out there. So yeah, if you guys have concerns, we're trying to make this pretty short and sweet. I think we are all a little bit COVIDed out. But if you have any safety concerns, please reach out. We are really all trying our hardest to maintain all the rules and to make sure that these kids are safe. But as you all know, this is a constantly, I'll put in 2 words, that's good. This is a constantly evolving situation. And the only thing constant is that it will change. So that is one of the things that we definitely know, that things will change. And as they change, we've been really actively involved in keeping everybody making changes pretty quickly. It's not easy, but it's definitely happened. And so I think we've done a pretty good job of keeping everybody on the water through a lot of different things. I just wanted to mention that going forward, we've scheduled a positive coaching alliance with the coaches, a training with the coaches in December. And then we're going to schedule a training with the athletes and the parents, 2 different trainings, but in January, that we hope everyone will get a lot out of. And we're looking forward to that. With the coaches, we're also going to be attending the U.S. Rowing Conference, and there's a couple other World Rowing Conferences, and we're working to get all the coaches. I believe almost all our coaches, except the newer coaches, are already level 2 or higher certified with U.S. Rowing. So we're continuing to educate and work forward, and we're trying really hard to just keep moving in a positive direction for the kids and for us. So with that, please note any, I unfortunately, my computer just crashed. So
I just wanted to I just wanted to say something really quick. I can see a few of the Novice Men athletes on the Zoom call right now. Great job with your face mask during practice. I mean, big point of this whole presentation is COVID safety, and you guys have done a great job at keeping them on and keeping your distance between pods and stuff. So as we progress past Thanksgiving, when we come back, the practice schedule is going to change a little bit, but just maintain what you're doing because you're doing great. So I just wanted to say that. I can see Nick here and Lucas. So just wanted to say that really quick.
That's awesome. Natalie, who's Kristen's assistant, I don't know if you all read in the, but she wanted to say hi. Her microphone isn't working. She graduated from UC Santa Barbara last June, and she's doing amazing. She works right near the boathouse, and her inspirational quote is from Winston Churchill, who said that success is walking from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. I think this applies to rowing because a good attitude is contagious. That's really great. The best way to enforce coaches wearing masks. I know sometimes I walk out and also I'm like, oh my God, my mask. So, the biggest issue we have is when you're trying to project your voice to the kids and there's 50 of them. And I think that's the biggest issue with wearing the mask, but we've been working on it. It's been constant. It's pretty good. So we're going to continue to work on it. Mixing the groups at land workouts. Yeah. We spray all the oars once they're in the container after practice. And we will be doing that and continuing to do that. We try to spray them also before practice, but if we haven't been, we will definitely make sure that that's happening. Mixing the pods, we've been really trying, and I think it's in the land workouts, and we're not really sure. We're gonna fix that. So it's not intentional. It shouldn't be happening on the water. We've all, I know that even the kids have been saying, we want to row with different people. It's like, well, yeah, that's the whole point. We actually can't. So we're trying really hard. And yeah, Rachel, as you said, all the athletes and coaches must sorry, my little thing went down. Must tell if there's somebody who they either live with or they've come into contact with that tests positive, and they need to. We will definitely tell everybody, and we will make sure if there's notify everybody if there's a positive case. It's the right thing to do for everybody. And if we have to shut down for 14 days, we shut down for 14 days. But that's out of our control. Yeah, I've heard a lot about the inconsistency with mask wearing and mixing of the pods, but then I think we fixed all those problems. We do have megaphones for the water, and we could use them on land. It's possible that we could use that. It's hard to project your voice through the through a mask. That's our issue. So, um, so yeah, with the reduction of double days for the varsity women after Thanksgiving, should they do a second workout to maintain their physical strength? You know what, if they work, and this is something that the coaches and I talk about a lot, is if the kids are doing the workouts that we are asking them to do when we're there, they don't need to do extra workouts. If they feel like they need to do extra workouts, then that's when we need to talk to them and figure out what it is that we're not giving them. Because I believe that that the kids, the athletes, get plenty of working out at the boathouse. If we're practicing 5 days a week, it's plenty. If they want to go for an extra run, that's fine. But the last thing we want is for people to get injured from overtraining.
Hey, Beth.
Yeah.
Let me piggyback on that real quick.
Yeah.
So to just expand on what Beth just said, you know, yes, I mean, if the athlete is putting the effort and the hard work every day, they should not need to do extra workouts. The other part with the extra workouts that sometimes can happen that leads to injury and burnout pretty quick. So in coaching in 20 years, you know, kids that put in a lot of extra time, that's where the fatigue, the burnout, and the injury starts to occur. Especially where they kind of plateau and they consistently put in more time away from the boathouse and aren't getting the results they want, they start to burn out and fatigue. So that's why we, you know, strongly enforce, if you're putting the time in every day, you shouldn't need the extra workouts. So there we go.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. So one of the just so you're all aware, one of the things about the cohorts that we
Sorry, is that better? Sorry. It is that the way summer camps were run is it was in 3-week groups.
And so what we did is we said, okay, well, we'll do change the group once a semester for this fall. And so we started out in groups and then we switched it. There wasn't a rule around summer camps that you had to do 14 days between switching cohorts. That wasn't the rule around summer camp. It was just that it had to maintain the same group for 3 weeks. So that was the rules that we were working under when we changed the groups. So for the varsity women on the water, the cohorts are pretty consistent, or are consistent, but I believe the breakdown happened on land, and we're trying to figure out how that happens. So we're working through that. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, good. Okay, so are there any other questions? I mean, it'd be great if I feel like the main thing is I wanted to make sure everybody knew we were paying attention, because we are paying attention. And we are all very concerned about COVID. I don't want to get COVID. I'm sure none of you want to get COVID. And if we have to lose 14 days of not going to the boathouse, that's what we have to do to keep everybody safe. So we will do whatever we have to do to keep everybody safe. And that's the other reason we haven't set anything up for next semester, because we really need to know what the forecast looks like in January. So yes, we'll be doing a team, and yes, we'll be having you guys work out, and yes, we have plans, but we just have to see what the county will allow us to do as we go forward. Yes, I am consulting the county public health about the current cohort guidelines. Staggering the times for practice, I'm assuming you're asking me. We're trying really hard to stagger times when they get there, when they can leave. But I mean, you guys all have high school kids, so we are. It's challenging. It's challenging. But we will continue to work on it, and if we have to, we'll cut down the number of practices and have less kids at each practice if that's what we have to do. So I think that there's a lot of options out there for us to take care of, but I think it's just going to be what are we allowed to do. Finals, that's a really good question. Sometimes kids need to take a couple days because of finals. Just tell the coaches. It's fine. We're done with practice. We'll stop rowing on the 18th, but that'll be our last practice, and then we'll be done for at least 2 weeks. I'm thinking, based on the numbers right now, that we maybe will take an extra week to make sure everybody has already traveled and been home for a week if they've traveled. So, we're going to sort of look and see what's happening. But please feel free. If your kids, they need a break sometimes to get away from the computer, and you study better when you've had a break. So I'm not saying they need to come to practice, but definitely get them a break from their computers, because I think sitting in front of computers all day is really hard. Would we do morning land practices? We could do morning land practices. It's challenging at BIAC because of the safety concerns we have around what is available there and how many people. And now they have that new lot with the recreational vehicles in it, which is great. But the problem is that they're not allowing them to keep their cars in there. So now there's less parking. So when we have more practices with more people at BIAC, it creates a whole nother issue with parking. And there's a lot of things we're trying to juggle. And the main thing we want to do is keep the kids safe. So could we do some morning land practices? For sure. But again, one of the issues we're trying to prevent is having the kids get up too many mornings in a row, because I do think that the kids need more sleep, and that's what keeps them healthy. So, yeah. So I do think that we will probably add an extra week to Christmas vacation, just because, and maybe we'll do some, a bunch of like online workouts, or just send the kids workouts to do around their house, just to make sure that everyone's doing something. But really running, staying safe. I think we'll ask Jen, our fitness guru, to try to set up some workouts for the kids over the break that they can do at home and that they can do safely. So if anyone has any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And also feel free to reach out to me. I don't, we get really busy, but I will always try to get back to you. And I think after, I don't know, 34 years of coaching, which is kind of crazy that I've done that, but after 34 years of coaching, I think I have a good perspective, and I don't think that I'm locked into any one way, and I'm open to change. So please reach out. We'd love to see what we can do to make it better. And yes, we all think Jen is an amazing coach, and we're really excited about having her be part of our team of getting the kids fitter. So yeah, and we'll get you guys some workouts from Jen. All right. Well, thank you all for coming and being part of this, and please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available, and we're happy. Hopefully we can solve problems. That's our goal. All right. So thank you, and stay safe over Thanksgiving. We'll see you all very soon. Okay. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Beth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Beth.